It's Titans Cowboys for Thursday Night Football. After a 5-game losing streak, the Titans and Jacksonville Jaguars are tied for top dog in the AFC South. Turron Davenport covers the Titans for ESPN, and he's here now. Turron, after 5 straight losses, I'm thinking about Cancun. I'm thinking about working on my golf game. But the Titans, they need a win for morale, but not to make the playoffs. With a bunch of starters listed as out or doubtful, what's Coach Vrabel's plan for this Cowboys game?
Yeah, that's the thing that was the big dilemma, Brandon. Is, as you mentioned, this team is desperately in need of a win, but this game, quote unquote, doesn't matter because whatever happens next week is what's going to determine a playoff berth. But I think really with Derrick Henry probably not playing, it's going to be all about getting the ball to your young playmakers, Chig Okonkwo, the tight end out of Maryland, Traylon Burks, the wide receiver out of Arkansas. Those 2 rookies, they got to get those guys involved. I talked to Robert Woods, and he said that the key thing was, a quick passing game, getting into some type of rhythm, and having drives put together. So it's going to be a tough task for Malik Willis, right? Because he's going against a really good Cowboys defense. So they're going to look to get him on the move, boot him a bit, allow him to work through the progressions and make things happen that way. Defensively, it's just going to be about discipline, pass rushing, right? To go after Dak Prescott and matching up with CeeDee Lamb, and you can't forget about Dalton Schultz and Tony Pollard coming out of the backfield. Those are going to be the focal points for them.
I got to address the elephant in the room. They were 7-3 at Week 11. They're 7-8 now. What happened?
I don't know if I have time to tell you everything. I'll start with the injuries. That's definitely been a factor. You had the Tannehill go down. You had Christian Fulton out. I mean, there's an assortment of starters. Brandon, they've rostered 82 guys already this year. The record is 91, which was set by them last year. They have, a bunch of guys. They have 1 roster spot to bring back, from IR. So you have that. You have just a lack of execution. You have, at times, situational-wise, bad play calling. You have a lack of discipline and communication as far as on the back end, resulting in all types of coverage breakdowns. They had 2 straight guys get the Conference Player of the Week, and both of them were quarterbacks. They passed for over 300 yards each. So you got that. You got just a total lack of rhythm on offense, especially in the second half. This team is averaging 5.2 points in the second half, which is dead last in the NFL. So there's an assortment of things that you put into that. Protection issues. Their left tackle, Dennis Daly, has given up more pressures and sacks than anyone else in the league. It's just been a bad situation.
You mentioned going through 82 guys through the roster this season, having to use those guys, only to have the record set from this same team last year with 90-something. I mean, come on. Talk as the player. I'm thinking with Mike Vrabel being a Belichick guy. A lot of those type of coaches are known to be old school. Is it the way they're practicing? Like, is strength and conditioning? Like how you see practice? Why are these guys dropping like flies for these years?
Yeah, that's a great question because they've even started to adopt the sports science where some of the guys have individual shakes outside of the locker room. They have all types of supplements available to them. I tell you, even in practice, like they've gone to almost a walkthrough pace, and sometimes practice is just a series of like light conditioning and things like that. I think really it comes down to the physical style of football that they play. And it's something that I asked Mike Vrabel about, but he said, football is a physical sport. And I'm like, yeah, I understand that, but not everybody is 80 plus back-to-back years and guys rostered. So I think it really does have to do with the way that they play. You want to kind of mention the strength and conditioning coaches and everything, but a lot of the injuries, like they're combat injuries, right? You're talking about an ankle that gets rolled up on. You're talking about a knee that gets, maybe from a cut block or something like that. You're talking about a concussion. These are things like I don't know that sports science or a strength and conditioning program can prevent. I mean, if you look at their roster as far as guys injured, there's a groin, but most of it is all like physical type of injuries. So it's not your hamstring, your strained calf, and those type of things that can be prevented.
Well, luckily that show, Sports Science, is coming back to ESPN. So the episode 1 should be at Titans practice. Turron, thanks for joining us, man, and stay warm tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate you.